Hello and welcome. Today, I'm back. What to talk about? Well, let's start with earlier today, toward the end of my show. Data Wasteland brought up some interesting tidbits, facts, and whatnots about the Twin Towers, and he gave me a playlist to watch. Look at that, I'm live. Sorry about that. Trying to earn bones, that's not going to work, so I'm going to have to do it the backwards way. I'll figure it out later. Maybe I'll have to set things up the way I should have to start with. I didn't, so oops. Alright. Is everybody hearing me okay? It looks like I'm broadcasting just fine. Alright. So, welcome to Bass Trap Kayla. How are we doing today? If Data Wasteland comes in and anybody sees him, tell him to check his Discord. I gave him the option for me to set up a hangout or to do it right from Discord. In fact, I think what I will do is, for all practical purposes, let me get into my Discord, go to somewhere. I've got the green room. How about I just do this on the Great Debate channel? And why didn't I hear that? Probably because Discord's being a pain. I'm going to restart Discord. Maybe that's why. Right here. Close. Alright, I apologize if this causes problems with me coming through because I'm running a lot to try and be prepared, so having to restart is not cool. So, I'm gonna have to set my bot with my name to not throw that crap in there so often because it's annoying myself. However, it is alerting all of my regulars and newbies as to all the changes that I'm making to make the chat more fun if I do happen to get boring. Does that happen? Absolutely. That's why I invite guests, because I know I get boring. Also, I'm not sure what happened with that bank heist we were doing. It didn't continue. I don't know. I don't know how to keep it going. I know if you try to run another bank heist, it won't go through, though. There's a message for that. I bet it's freezing. Am I freezing, or is BTK freezing? I'm alive in Grand Rapids at the moment. Oh, that's right. You drive, don't you? Or something like that. I don't know all about your background. I'm not like that. I just know what I hear and choose to remember, which is, more or less sometimes. Where did Discord go? Where did Discord go? I know I opened it. Is it starting? Put the little Discord icon up today, thinking we're gonna do it in there. Fright Power. I'm good with Fright Power. Did he join me in the stream, or are we just yelling out Fright Power? I'll take a wall of hashtag Fright Power. Cold in Michigan. 43. That's not too bad. It's not too bad. I'd be outside working. I should be. It's almost, I think, somewhere around there. I can check. Where's my other devices? Where is my Discord? I loaded it up. Why is it not loading? Do I have to get a new Discord? What the? No, apparently I'm live on Discord. Okay, so now it's going to give me an error for trying to open it twice. I still didn't hear it. Let's disconnect that. Oh, okay, now I hear it. I'm in there. Alright, so, if anybody wants to join me, there's a green room in here. I'm going to chill in there for a while, but we're only going to allow... how can I not set that? That's messed up. Where do I set the number of people allowed in the green room? User limit 2, 3, we'll call it 4. I will allow up to 4 people in here if you want. I do ever so like chatting, but chatting is terrible when you can't get what you're saying out. So, there we go. I'm all set in Discord. And what else do I have to do? Let me swap my audio over so that it'll work properly, because if I do it like that... Hello, welcome Unwanted Reaper to the chat. How are we doing? Happy birthday. I can't hear you, which means I need to restart my Discord. Okay, awesome. Oh no, what did I do yesterday? There's a setting in Discord because of all the other stuff that I do. Right here, I think, in user settings. Give me a moment. Voice and video. Come down here. What is going on? Why is that not right? I think I just need to restart my Discord. I don't know what I've gone and done. So, let me do that again. I'm sorry. Wow, I hate technical difficulties. I had all of this working just before this, and then it goes and screws up on me right when you jump in. That's terrible. Give me a moment. Why does that work? Now let's see if... I apologize to anybody. Alright, today we're going to be talking about 9/11. Let me see if I can multitask my mind here for a moment. We're going to be talking about 9/11. Data Wasteland gave me a couple of interesting videos. I think I've seen the longer ones before, but I don't want to say that for sure because I didn't get a chance to stop and watch them. Alright. The first one on his playlist was a quick 5-minute video. That one I might go over because it was interesting. It offers tidbits, and I am set up to show it to you guys. We're going to have to cut it apart and look at it as I go through. The weird wrench symbol and your name being blue is for being one of my first 250 subscribers and or people viewing the chat. I'm not going to make that line horribly, distinct. I just did 3 things at once and lost track of the first 2. So I guess I failed. I failed horribly. I'm thinking about either adding a whole bunch more stuff to Nightbot or switching to something. I don't know. I'm messing with my bots. They should be fun and dumb at the same time. I'm sure you all understand that. Here is a video. Can you guys see that? Yep, monitor stream says you guys can see that. This is one that I just started watching before the stream. I was looking for information on the design integrity of the World Trade Center. I also did pull out my report from high school, and boy, do I feel like an idiot reading what I wrote almost 20 damn years ago. Damn. The only thing in here that I found that was of any relevance to what we stated, even with all the work that I remember doing and the research I remember reading for this, in our final report, it was 3 pages, 2 pages and 2 sentences long, if that's not crap. In our analysis of the failure of the structural integrity of the World Trade Center, we felt there wasn't much more that could have been done to prevent the destruction by a Boeing 767 flying through the outer walls and igniting thousands of gallons of jet fuel. The heat alone from the burning jet fuel is enough to damage most buildings severely. On the other hand, with a little more consideration, you realize that with more interior structural integrity, the building may have been able to withstand a blast like that without destroying the building completely. So, that was the final of 4 paragraphs. The final of 3 paragraphs in a report I wrote 20 years ago that makes me feel dumber than I remember being. So glad I had all those awards, high grades, and achievement certificates for that class. I feel like an idiot now, but that's okay. How about this? How about I ignore idiot and I go back to the partial reason why my name is NumbedSkull, and that's because it kind of relates. Sometimes I can be a numbskull. And you don't always remember things as they happened. I know you heard me. Oh crap! That's what I was forgetting to do. That is the item that I forgot to do, is reopen Discord. He heard me, I couldn't hear him. It's a good thing I have more than one device running. I had it muted, so a message from Unwanted Reaper just happened to vibrate my phone off the stand. ABC found BTK. Does that mean ZYX is coming? For CSM? I don't know. Anybody know what a CSM is? I bet you BTK knows what CSM would be. Well, I reopen all this and get back over here into my server. And I ran into this problem yesterday.
Yeah, now I hear you.
Now you hear me. I ran into this problem yesterday trying to jump into Bear's server, and I couldn't hear anything. It's Discord with all of the stuff that I run on my computer, I think.
Okay, right. Let me turn my TV down.
That would be a great idea. Let me take you down just a hair because you sound a bit loud. I gotcha.
Yeah, everything okay? No feedback? Nothing?
How does he sound now, guys? Is that perfect, audience? Can I get, what should I ask for? Everybody else asks for numbers. Let's get an A if it's good, a Z if it's bad. Somewhere in between if it's somewhere in between, and I'll figure it out. We're gonna
just give me a 69 if it's good, man.
We'll work on a spectrum here. And we have more. Welcome, the Malevolent Rider. How are we doing?
Hey, Malevolent.
Okay, so we're going to attempt to discuss the World Trade Center. Now,
I'm sorry, what?
The World Trade Center. But if you don't want to, we don't have to. But I'm at least going to hit it. I'm wondering if Dada's going to pop in here.
No. I thought this was just to talk to like people. I did not know this was a debate room.
No. We're not debating. We're just talking.
To us, ain't you?
We're not debating. My debates are conversation. That's what a debate is to me. The conversation ended on my show earlier. Say that again?
I know nothing about the World Trade Center.
That's all right. I thought I knew more than I did, and that's the reason why we were originally going to do this, is to talk about what we knew. But let's learn a little first.
Well, you can tag along. I don't know much either, but hey, I'm here.
I bet you guys know more than some other people. Let's leave it at that. Does that sound fair?
We'll see.
Okay. You can't hit the World Trade Center skull. You are 17 years too late for that. Yes. All right. So my experience with the World Trade Center. Let's knock this out. I grew up and spent time in New York, but not in the city. I did go down in 2002. The year after this happened, I was down there in April, and I do have pictures from the site of the World Trade Center. I have pictures of the Memorial Church that the fence was just completely strewn with memories and pictures and posters, balloons, flowers, everything you could think of. We walked down through there. We went into they had an observation area set up a block back that you could walk up a story and a half and get on this little platform and see what was there and how the cleanup was going. So I was down in the area. I did visit a bunch of the city while I was there, so it's not like I lingered and spent my time just at the site. But I will say, let's see, October, November, December, plus 4 for April. 7 months later, it was still a site that you really don't want to see. I did a report in high school in a engineering class I was in. Apparently, I remember the report being much better than it was. I read that over, part of it over real quick. But now I've been reintroduced to some old conspiracy theories, and I haven't seen this one video before, and we might hit it up and look at it as we go through together. And he's got this whole list, and there is no way I'm getting through it today. One of them's 2 hours long, one of them's an hour long. I only intend to be here for another hour or so, maybe a little longer. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I got to.
This video is 45 minutes. I suggest you start playing it then.
Oh, I'm not going to play this one.
The word and only.
This is one I was looking for the design analysis of the building.
Okay.
I'm trying to find all these sites and move them over into the right browser.
Okay, well, I thought in spectrum of the time limit I saw 45 minutes, so...
Yeah, we're just chat along. If the topic changes, so what?
That those were all destroyed, you know, at the World Trade Center on that.
All right, so there is this one that I'm on part 2 of 3, and I'm not going to actually play it, but I'm going to show it. Does everybody see that little tiny blurb right in the middle of the screen right there?
Is that a person?
That is a person. Apparently somewhere around the 91st floor of the building at some point, these art students decided they would get permission to remove the window from the building. And in place of the window, they built this balcony that went just on the outside of the building. And what they were doing was, and you guys are going to love this, they were stripping naked, walking onto the balcony, and being photographed by a helicopter.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Yeah, right? Okay, so you guys, you think, oh crap, I know nothing about 9/11 or the towers or any of this, but well, let's see if I have to adjust the volume.
Well, I remember the day itself.
This is very...
Okay,
Here
we are.
Let me give you a quote from one of the...
all
the writings in their book were cryptic, very cryptic. It was just, it's like reading a...
Where is it?
I cannot say this. My uncle was actually crossing the bridge when 9/11 happened. So he was like on the bridge going to,
you know, the World Trade Center on 9/11.
Did that just start?
Well, this was at work when it happened. But when I got back home, I remember some Muslim people on my way home celebrating in the street. And I was like, what the fuck happened? And then I got home, and I was like, what the fuck? Why were they celebrating this? Like, even if you are a Muslim, you know, there's no good in this. Like, what they did was fucked up, and you shouldn't celebrate it, even if you are Muslim. And luckily, in my country, the spectrum has changed a bit, and the Muslim community kind of understands that they can be accepted here if they just act normally.
Okay.
Like, we don't want those radicals. Just be yourself, act normally, and don't push your belief onto me. It's for your Allah or my God to decide if I've been a bad person, not for you.
Alright, I'm going to apologize if I get crossing audio here or if things crackle because I heard some crackling. Sorry. Stop!
Damn!
That's Beethoven.
It's the intro to the one I'm trying to get. I'm running 2 different browsers.
No, that's Beethoven.
Yes. It's the... Oops, wrong place. I'm trying to get this 5-minute... Let's hope it doesn't get that loud again. But be prepared. Here we go. Let's close this browser. Give me some bandwidth back. Close that.
Okay.
Okay. Why did that not go? Here we are. or let's just click it there now that it's right in front of me. All right, so Data Wasteland gave me all these links. Again, if anybody sees him, tell him I'm on Discord. I'll make room for him if I need. There's still one more spot in my Discord channel.
Oh, you gotta love that, man. That is a good one.
All right, so we're not gonna watch an hour-long thing. Why is it not loading?
Because it's my birthday and they like to fuck me.
Oh, well, happy birthday.
Now you're 1 year older. Happy birthday. Your life still isn't over.
Yeah, my sister actually sent me a message.
Oh! No! Where is it playing? Hold on.
Well, not for like royalty.
But yeah, my sister actually sent me a funny message. Congratulations, you're now older than me.
Alright, I can still hear you guys. You guys can still hear me. Stop! Oh my God.
I hear everything.
I know you guys don't hear it right now, but I pressed pause, and then as soon as I went to adjust the audio, it started playing again. This is why I don't like Firefox.
Yeah, keep on it. Ear rape.
Oh, ear rape. You know how Sinatra just leaves his Streamlabs on to let people punish him?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
He likes to get raped in the ear.
No, I think he likes to give incentive for people to give money. I think that's what that is. Hey, you want to hurt me? You want to hurt me for giving me money? That's okay.
That whole thing is called on Twitch, man.
Alright, is it done?
Like Twitch, people, they get the noise in the ear, people send them money on the wrong time, and they fuck up the game because the noise, they get scared. It's been a thing, man. Sinatra is not the first one to do that.
And we have a response from Data.
But shout out to Sinatra, I love his streams, man.
In my Discord in Green Room. I think he's in my Discord. I'm not sure. I'm not in my Discord.
Coming in, Data.
Yeah, he is. He should be here in a moment, I'm assuming. Alright.
That Wasteland?
Yeah, he's the one, him and I were talking about this earlier. But this is the one I found funny. This is the first one that I started watching earlier. I've got it all queued up. Unfortunately, the live stream is a couple seconds behind. And I'm not using my circle because that's more bandwidth than using Firefox. So, let's try this. Okay, we missed a minute. Hold on.
Yeah, but now I don't get any sound from the video, but...
I hate this thing. I hate this thing.
What? That's the guy who says Mike.
And I have to pause every few seconds just so I don't get in trouble. This is a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, the big G is fucking small creators from making proper content. Conspiracy theory.
Well, I was watching this and I was laughing at how much of it made sense. We just lost one. I was laughing at how much of this made sense.
But do the people watching get sound? Because I'm not getting any.
Oh no, I think we lost Malevolent Rider. Maybe he just wants to sit and watch for a minute. Which is perfectly fine. Or hanging out. Let me sort out the mic. You're just perfectly fine, Data, whenever you're willing to jump in here.
But can I just say about Malevolent? He's got me cracked up multiple times. So
oh, there he is.
Yeah, he's a funny guy, man. Like just in the chat, I watch people. I see some familiar faces. I watch them, of course. And the Malevolent, he's really a funny guy.
I absolutely hate Firefox. Hate it with a passion. It's in Discord just to make it easy for people to jump in and chat if they want. I've got a green room on my Discord channel. I see you are an undead, so you're in here.
I'm waiting for my. She called me, saying she got some stones for my grandma. So
I actually have to go buy stones for my grandmother and my mother next. I was gonna say, stems. Oh, flowers.
Stems.
Yeah, I'm going down to get flowers.
No. Stamps for the envelope.
Oh, stamp. Okay.
Stem. Yeah.
I thought you said stem. I'm thinking, okay, stem roses. Okay, I'll go with it. I know what's going on. I have no idea what's being said.
And my grandma's windows rolled down. And it's raining, so.
The green room, Data. The green room.
The one where we are talking, Data. The pre-show. The green room pre-show. Actually, shouldn't this be the after show since it's not since it's not before your other show?
This one is set up for people that want to jump on the show when I don't have guests. That way they can't jump right into the show live. It's somewhere, it's like a waiting room to jump on the show.
Okay.
So the people outside don't hear us?
I didn't want to do it on the Great Debate show line, just because it's locked to whoever I give that role to for the day. So...
okay.
I don't know where he is. Let me see if I can't give him a link to the channel. It's hashtag. Is it the green room or green room?
Green room.
Green room.
It says, hey.
Green, the little stripe thing room.
I'm on YouTube right now.
Hi.
We're talking about the World Trade Center.
All right, he'll be back. He's got to restart his mic. No worries. Tell your girl I said hi.
Yeah, everything.
Oh,
not
sister.
my girl. Okay. Let's say hi.
I'd hit on your sister, but I'm a married man. It's okay.
I'm single.
All right, so let me get a few more clips of this in here now that we've delayed. Maybe. The news anchors knew in minutes, the pundits knew in hours, and the president knew by the end of the day.
I get no audio from the video, man.
You don't hear it through here? Oh, you know what? Sorry,
Nope.
There we go. Sorry about that. I unclicked it because it was blasting.
The pundits knew within hours.
No problem.
Osama bin Laden.
The administration knew within the day.
Terrorists who committed these acts. And those
and the evidence literally fell into the FBI's lap.
The hijacker's passport was found blocks from the World Trade Center crash site, if you can believe that.
But for some reason...
What was that? Noob? Who's a noob? Me? Absolutely.
Yeah, you. Noob.
Yeah.
You gotta love it, man. We all know shit happens. We love you for it, man.
Alright, so to kind of crinkle down this little 5-minute video a little bit, this is the huge conspiracy on how 9/11 was just too many things that were a little beyond the possibility. On how 10 people hijacked 3 planes to fly them into 3 buildings, the flight paths taking them hours outside the original flight path, yet nobody launched a plane to pay attention to what's going on.
One of them, I have a question. Is one of them, they say that 9/11 happened on the day of the police number?
Yeah, because it's 911, yeah.
Well, that was somewhat symbolic. Yeah, I don't think that was anything on purpose. I think that was just coincidence.
I think it was on purpose. I think it was on purpose.
Well, obviously the whole thing was on purpose, but I don't think the date was planned to be 9/11 to symbolize dial 911. I think that's just a little too much. Let's make this funny while we're at it.
On this, I think I disagree with you on anything but that. I think everything else, yeah, maybe it was Al Qaeda, maybe it wasn't. You know, like maybe it was the American government. But I think the 9/11 thing, for sure, that can be said it was planned on that date because it was 9/11.
Okay. You know that 911 actually means help and police code.
Yeah. 911, emergency.
No, it actually means help and police code or SOS.
Yeah. That's basically what I mean. 911, emergency, and SOS, save our souls, help us.
Actually, SOS means save or suspect.
Oh?
Yeah, 911 means save or suspect.
Oh, okay. That's another one. Okay, thanks.
All right, let's get another few seconds of this out of the way. Everybody knows that I'm breaking it apart just so that my stream and the playback later don't get flagged for copyright.
Of crazy conspiracy theorists demanded an investigation into the greatest attack on American soil in history. That investigation was delayed, underfunded, set up to fail, a conflict of interest, and a cover-up from start to finish. It was based on testimony extracted through torture, the records of which were destroyed. It failed to mention the existence of WTC-7, Able Danger, P-Tech, Sibel Edmonds, OBL and the CIA, and the drills of...
Yeah, all of this stuff. Okay, so here's how I see things. There's a lot of information that keeps coming out, and all of these coincidences and connections that come out. Now, the World Trade Centers were two very large buildings with the possibility of having a lot of different meanings to why they were blown up, either the contents or for symbolism or as a distraction or just a scare tactic. Okay, so there's a lot of this. A lot of people and a lot of news organizations and even
what's wrong with saying all of it? Everything.
I don't see, maybe this is just my small mind trying to wrap around it, but I don't see how everything that people are trying to toss in is connected. I see how a bunch of it could be coincidences, or there could be different...
kind of far-fetched, yeah. They are a bit, okay, no, I don't believe, George Bush actually hired somebody to fly the plane and drive it into that building. I don't think that.
Well, they're saying the one into the Pentagon...
right?
They're saying the one into the Pentagon was flown into the Pentagon the day after this search for billions of dollars came up as a, deterrent to not have to search for it, and, that was the end. That was part of a clip in here. Back about a minute ago.
Aircraft being flown into buildings that were being simulated at the precise same time that those events were actually happening. It was lied to by the Pentagon, the CIA, the Bush administration, and as for Bush and Cheney, well, no one knows what they told it because they testified in secret, off the record, not under oath, and behind closed doors. It didn't bother to look at who funded the attacks because that question is ultimately of little practical significance. Still, the 9/11 Commission did brilliantly answering all of the questions the public had, except most of the victims' family members' questions.
Yeah, I don't think they... I didn't look at the 9/11 Commission answers. I just saw the news broadcast, and again, it's 2018. Wow, I'm getting old. This is 16, 17 years ago. I say 16 because it's the beginning of 2018. This happened at the end of 2001, so that's a little over 16 years difference.
By the way, I see Bullwinkle, I think, in the chat. Since 9/11, 2001, more fires and buildings that collapsed similarly to the Twin Towers. That's because buildings are designed to collapse that way. So once a building starts collapsing, it will collapse inward on
Yeah,
itself
that's it.
to not destroy the other buildings around it.
And we got that wasteland on.
How we doing, Data?
Hey, Dada.
Maybe.
And he's muted.
Or he's just trying to get his mic working. Give him a moment. Okay, 9/11 is planned.
Wait,
Tel Aviv.
Wait, you said moment. You said moment wrong.
I say everything wrong. I swear. I'm leaning over. I'm doing this from a lazy boy. I could just sit back and let you guys chat if you want. This is fine by me. I'll just put my feet up on the table where my mic is, and we can just play this movie.
I'm just smoking my drink. I have my beer.
People responsible, although no one so much as lost their job, determining the attacks were
Failure of imagination.
because
Nobody in our government, at least, and I don't think the prior government that could envision flying airplanes into buildings.
except the Pentagon, FEMA, NORAD, and the NRO. The DIA
we don't envision planes flying into buildings, but we have plans for what we do if a plane flies into a building.
I'll be back later, man. Can you mute me?
Hit the mic button on your
Oh wait, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. What do we got?
I muted him.
The government is a slave. Plan Tel Aviv for the elite. Okay, so at the age of how old was I when this happened? Back then, this was a terrorist event. We had been attacked. I was a high schooler who saw this all happen live on the news in my classroom and watched every minute of it. Watched all the footage, watched the second plane live fly into the tower. You're gonna tell me that 15 minutes after a plane flies into a tower that we don't have armed services in the air? That blew my mind. We were being attacked, but we don't have services in the air. Planes were immediately grounded, but wasn't it like 38 or 40 something minutes later that the plane flew into the Pentagon? I don't think this one goes over it. I was in my last year, but I should have already graduated. I just lost data.
destroyed 2.5 terabytes of data on Able Danger, but that's okay because it probably wasn't important. The SEC destroyed their records on the investigation into the insider trading before the attacks, but that's okay because destroying the records of the largest investigation in SEC history is just part of routine record keeping. NIST has classified the data that they used for their model of WTC-7's collapse, but that's okay because knowing how they made their model of the collapse would jeopardize public safety. The FBI has argued that all
I don't even know if some people in the chat know this. I want to say that the planes flying into the tower was actually the third attempt to destroy the towers. What else do I have down on my notes about that? Or things that I can think of. Oh, we'll get to that part here in a minute. We'll play another minute, a couple seconds.
Related to their investigation of 9/11 should be kept secret from the public, but that's okay because the FBI probably has nothing to hide. This man never existed, nor is anything he had to say worthy of your attention, and if you say otherwise, you are a paranoid conspiracy theorist and deserve to be shunned by all of humanity. Likewise, him.
I don't know if it was shown in this video or one of the subsequent videos I was watching after this one, but this guy gave testimony as to he was up on the 28th floor coming down, and he was at about the 8th floor and couldn't get through any farther with a partner of his that worked with him. And about the 8th floor, the gentleman standing on his left with the mic up in front of him was hearing the screams of the gentleman on the right with the circle around his head and went to help as the gentleman on the right busted glass out somewhere to get through. I didn't catch all of that. I might have to go back and watch it again.
And her. And her, and her, and him. Osama bin Laden lived in a cave fortress in the hills of Afghanistan, but somehow got away. Then he was hiding out in Tora Bora, but somehow got away. Then he lived in Abbottabad for years, taunting the most comprehensive intelligence dragnet employing the most sophisticated technology in the history of the world for a decade, releasing video after video with complete impunity and getting younger and younger as he did so, before finally being found in a daring SEAL team raid which wasn't recorded on video, in which he did
which wasn't recorded on video.
I have never heard nothing so stupid in my life.
Quite a coincidence.
Okay, so there's a lot of governmental coincidences lined up here. Destruction of paperwork. You wouldn't think that would happen from any government institution. Once there's something checked into or looked at, they're supposed to keep those records. And we keep hearing records revealed from 1940s and 1930s. So you're telling me we don't have a record of something that happened in 2001? I'll give it was 2001. We weren't where we are now, but damn.
Hey, ABC 123 XOXO said Osama as an FBI agent.
Some people were saying in the subsequent years after this that he wasn't even a real person. He was a figment developed by the government.
Wait, Doku HLSD might add something to this conversation.
Doku, type Discord in the chat, and it'll give you a link to my Discord, and come on into the green room. Feel free, hop in, chat, give us what you got. No problem with some alternate views here.
You even got BTK doing it. Based on Taylor.
Who'd we get first? We got Doku. Muted. There we are.
Yeah, Doku.
Guys.
Pretty good. Go ahead. What do you got?
Well, I just want to say, my dad was working in defense contracting. He had a meeting at the Pentagon on the morning of 9/11, and that meeting got canceled. One of the rooms that got hit by the airplane was one of the rooms that he was supposed to be in. The whole meeting got canceled.
Oh. Well, I would say first, you're extremely lucky, and so is he. But that makes you realize how quickly they started responding. And makes you also think, depending on what time it was canceled and how many other coincident items were canceled. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but I'm going to go.
All right.
I'm going to unmute, and when the reboot, you can mute him, okay?
Actually, since I've only got room for 4 in here, can I get you to hop out and you can come back if there's room?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
All right.
Later.
Yeah, on the topic of conversation, I mean, if we're really going to talk about this, I don't think necessarily it was a government conspiracy. I don't think we shot missiles or anything at our own buildings or tried to kill our own citizens. I'm more of the belief that just knowing what happened under the Clinton administration and also under the Bush administration, we knew what was going to happen. And it's, at the end of the day, it's basically just complacency. We allowed it to happen. If it did happen, then there's something to gain from it. But if it doesn't, great. If it does, well, we can use that to our advantage. And there's always ulterior motives at work. That's just kind of the way governments worked since, World War II.
Yeah. Data. Test. 1, 2. I hope your mic... Oh, we got him. And we lost him. But he's here. Something's working. He's working on a headset.
Honestly, this is the reason that I actually use a phone. They tend to be more reliable.
You know, that's weird because I was watching the Kumite on one of my phones, and either the chat is moving so fast my phone can't keep up with it because the chat keeps freezing, or something's wrong with the new updates to the YouTube on my phone. I don't know.
Yeah, for me, the phone has been a lot more reliable over the past couple of months, so I don't even bother with a mic anymore.
I have a condenser mic. That's why I come through very loud, I suppose. All right, let's knock out a few more seconds of this while we let Daddy get his wind. Maybe.
Or uses his wife as a human shield, and in which these crack special forces operatives panicked and killed this unarmed man, supposedly the best source of intelligence about those dastardly terrorists on the entire planet. Then they dumped his body in the ocean before telling anyone about it. Then a couple dozen of that team's members died in a helicopter crash in Afghanistan. This is the story of 9/11, brought to you by the media which told you the hard truths about...
His head could be seen to move violently forward.
Yeah. Alright, so my thing with conspiracy theories is I have no problem looking into them. I have no problem openly believing it. But if you give me a pile of information that all says that it's involving something, but then it's like, hey, you know, this guy worked for a cleaning company and his sister's cousin was a member of ISIS, and this person worked on the 32nd floor, and this person worked on this floor, and this is coincidentally that they were related to this person, and they were related to that person, and this happened the day before this, and the date says this, and 911 is the emergency call, and then you start tossing so much stuff at it, it's like, okay, I went from being able to believe some of it to there's too much. Oh, you're coming through crackly like... Test? Nope, that's me coming back. Okay. But it just makes things more unbelievable. Your mic's not working right, Data.
Well, NumbedSkull, to elaborate a little bit more on what you're saying, that's the thing behind a lot of these conspiracy theories, or even just myths or legends, conspiracy, whatever you want to call them. There's always a little bit of grain of truth to everything.
All right, but when you take...
Like, it doesn't just come out of the blue.
No, that's what I'm saying is a lot of things must be related. But when you start reaching outside the necessary relations to make things happen and just keep adding to it, like, oh, well, the CIA, the FBI, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and this person and that person all knew this was going to happen, and they cleared out all of these rooms and this side of the Pentagon and cleared the airspace to allow for these planes to have an extra 17 to 20 minutes for the first plane after the second plane after the first strike, and then like 40 something minutes for the third plane. You're telling me that our services were not monitoring and on top of this before it happened. That's where part of it starts. You threw so much information at this to build this story, but now the information you're giving makes the story full of holes and have too many, but what if that's too much contingency on that little part, and you're tossing in all this extra stuff to build your story. Now you're starting to make your case seem like you're building the story so hard that it's full of holes. Maybe I'm saying what I'm thinking wrong. I have a hard time with that. But do you see what I'm saying?
Get what you're saying.
If you're telling a lie and you keep giving more and more and more details that you can relate to this lie that make it seem true, that starts to make me more think that it's a lie because you keep giving me more details.
Well, the thing is, the more and more correlation that you start to see with something, there's some aspect of truth to it. But you also have to realize I'm not going to go off on too much of a tangent here, but I would like to point out, when you look at the way that our society has been structured since post-World War II, when you look at the government, when you look at the education system, when you look at the media, when you look at throw big banks in there just for good measure.
Yeah, right.
When you look at the different correlations between all of these groups and you look at the circles they run in, they're all in each other's pockets. So
Illuminati.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there is going to be a narrative that's going to be pushed, and they are going to push that narrative with every ability that they have, using whatever method that they can. But chances are the narrative being pushed, especially if you can drop a little nugget of information into the conspiracy theory circles, because you know they're going to run with it, and that's what they do.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Hell, you drop me a nugget of information and you give me a good, decent story. Yeah, I'm gonna run with it. But yeah, they do that kind of shit intentionally. Chances are
like,
the narrative.
This guy is wearing a suit, so he's got to be telling the truth.
Well, chances are the narrative being pushed is actually not the truth. There might be a little bit of truth behind it.
No, I'm saying people when they watch the news, they see a guy in a suit on mainstream media, and they think, yeah, he's telling the truth. But it's not actually the truth.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you go to Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, any of those outlets.
And you look for the differences in their stories.
Fake news.
Let's just talk about CNN. Like, what is their fucking slogan? The most trusted name in news. How trustworthy is it?
This is a banana.
I don't even have cable TV or anything because I don't trust the motherfuckers. Why would I want to watch commercials between everything I want to watch?
Absolutely.
I know Netflix and YouTube. That's all I use.
Here we talk 5 minutes between 10 seconds just so I don't get copyright strike.
And
they took the baby out of the incubator.
Like copyright things and shit. You know, like.
I'm just reviewing this video and laughing at it because there's parts of it that when I watched it through the first time, I literally just sit there with my jaw down and like a half laugh, like that was what I was doing for a couple minutes. I was like, okay.
But here's something you also have to be conscientious of when you're watching this stuff. A lot of these individuals that run in these circles, at least the vast majority of them, from what I've seen, take me at my opinion, or take this as my opinion, but you look at the way they act, you look at what they do, you look at how they conduct themselves, you'll realize that if you pay attention to the subtleties, they're arrogant enough that they actually will give you enough information if you just take a step back and you look and read between the lines. You'll be able to deduce what actually is true and what's a lie. I mean,
Data, you are coming through, but you're very crackled.
Stupid enough for them to fool me.
Hold on. Hi, Data. I can't hear what you're saying. I think your mic has blown something.
Am I fashionably late or what?
I go fashionably late and kind of robotically quiet.
Oh boy, Dad, you sound like a...
You could be
It
the
sounds
alien
like...
thing on Josie in Outer Space.
Yeah.
You sound like a Disney Bumblebee princess, dude.
You sound like the mosquito that flew in my ear and I smacked myself for.
You know, like Josie in outer space, and then bleep bleep, you're that guy.
I mean, I kind of heard a laugh, but again, it sounded like a Disney Bumblebee princess.
Yeah, bleep from Josie in outer space, man.
Oh, talk.
I kind of understood what you said there, Data, but...
I want fries. Can I have you? I want fries.
Going down, it's hurting me, man.
Did you get... That's a little better. You're getting there. I can almost get 3 words out of it.
Okay.
He's speaking BTK language.
Maybe we should do this.
I can hear the beep beep.
Like,
I think he
maybe
said he wanted
just
a number
like
6. Would you drop some fries for me?
All right. Mute myself while I say goodbye to my visitor.
All right, go ahead. I'm going to play a few more seconds of this so we can get this out of the way.
Full production facilities.
And
the rescue of Jessica Lynch.
If you have any questions about this story, you are a batshit paranoid tinfoil dog abusing baby hater and will be reviled by everyone.
Yay!
If you love your country and or freedom, happiness, rainbows, rock and roll, puppy dogs, apple pie, and your grandma, you will never ever express doubts about any part of this story to anyone. Ever. This has been a public service announcement by the Friends of the FBI, CIA, NSA, DIA, SEC, MSM, White House, NIST, and the 9/11 Commission.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, that's one hell of a Valentine's Day gift right there.
Oh. Do I believe that it was all intentional, that it was well planned, and more? Yes. Do I believe it was perpetrated by only 18 individuals altogether, them being the ones with the box cutters on the plane? No. Did people possibly know in the government that this was going to happen for sure? Possibly. My bigger question is, why didn't the services respond in according time with the planes attacking?
I have that answer.
Do you?
Yeah. Yeah.
I heard yes.
You're raping my ears, man. Sorry, man.
It just so happened that the head of the Defense Department
Okay, hold on. You just stopped. The head of the Defense Department ordered a shutdown of
a non-scramble order. 3 weeks before the event, and then undid it 3 weeks after the event. In other words, any time before that order, it was automatic that these scrambled planes to intercept commercial aircraft.
Okay, so having you stop talking for everybody else's benefit, let me see if I can decipher that. Apparently, for 3 weeks it sounded like, before and after the date of 9/11, there was a no scramble order. Basically, to my understanding, anything that would happen that might threaten or compromise national security is an instantaneous flight, planes in the air, on top of whatever they need to be on top of, grounding everything that's in the air and shooting it down if it doesn't comply. So a non-scramble order would mean that those planes would have as much time as they needed because they're not being tracked down and traced by the armed services like I would think would happen.
The same day of the event, there were multiple war games going on.
I didn't hear what you said there. There was, the same day of the event, there was something going on.
Multiple war games going on.
It sounded like multiple warplanes.
War games.
I'm really sorry to say this, but Dada, your mic just isn't working.
It sounds like it's completely damaged. It's not seated or connected properly. That's interesting. A no scramble order. Let's.
Yeah, you do make good points, but it's just the mic, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe I can add a little bit to what Dada's trying to say, if I understand correctly. You have to realize when situations like this are happening, and we've known about terrorist attacks and plots since, the days of Bush Sr. And we had Osama in custody under the Clinton administration. We've been gathering intelligence on these individuals for quite some time. But you also have to realize, are you going to just scramble a group of fighter jets and shoot down an airplane based upon, information that you can't corroborate? Are you just going to?
Okay, so here's how that works. Anytime that airplanes get scrambled, they will get scrambled to anything and everything that is in the air. They will intercept and buddy fly or fly along with and try to get communications with that. If they cannot get communications, they will take that plane down in a safe way. I mean, when I say safe, I mean over the best area possible, I guess.
You're flying over a metropolitan area, and you're talking about an airplane that's traveling at a very, very high velocity.
Yeah, but Doku, yeah? Am I saying that correctly? Doku?
Yeah.
You're both American, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm Dutch, so I didn't get all the information you guys got, but I did try to look into it and see all the different conspiracies, and like there's lots of bullshit in there, there's no denying that. But there's also some things that do make you think. Like maybe it was with the government's influence that it happened.
Yeah, there are some things that are adding up.
They send in a rocket instead of an airplane into the Pentagon. No. If you saw the one plane flying into the Twin Towers, he made some last-minute adjustments. I think the airplane could have flown in at such a height and then drive himself into the Pentagon.
But the problem was the airplane didn't lift to a height.
The lights.
Okay, let me hold on.
If a plane comes in, it should have taken down all the lights, the night lights, you know, like the road lighting. But the pilot just drove in at the last moment. And they were.
Let me make 3 points. Let me make 3 points here, real quick.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So first off, whether it's Bush Sr., Bush Jr., the Clinton administration. First off, you don't want to be the person in power that makes a hasty decision that results in an airplane being shot down because, say, a radio went out.
Worse, a civilian airplane.
You're gonna want to draw that information first. Second,
you never want people to die, being a human being.
Yeah. Second off, though, when you're talking about scrabbling an aircraft, it still takes at least 10 to 20 minutes just to get a fighter fueled and up and into the air, let alone in reasonable combat range. And by that point in time, considering the velocity these large airliners are traveling at, there is no guarantee that you're going to be able to shoot it down without having casualties, which brings you back to point one.
Aren't there always fighters in the air already? No. Or at least prepared to go into the air?
All right, let's just call this out. Holy shit, I'm going to stop this and read from the chat. Apparently, after the hilarious, I like hilarious, there is an active shooter in a Florida high school right now. Why is this a weekly thing? High schools, middle schools.
Is that hilarious?
Come on.
God. It just never seems to stop.
You know what? Don't get me wrong. I'm tired of seeing it happening in schools with teenagers and children.
For real, just now happening?
That's
we
what it
seem
sounded
to live
like.
in a world that is very divided, unfortunately.
Well, it's BTK saying it, and I know he's a kind of a troll, so don't believe everything he says right away, but I'm wondering if he's serious.
But just to make my last point, and this is where I think a lot of this conspiracy theories draw their roots from. When you're looking at situations like this, especially when you're talking about the 9/11 thing, I feel like the vast majority of this comes from a position of both complacency and also arrogance. Because no one would ever expect something like that to happen.
Data Wasteland typed his comment. At the same time, there were multiple war games going on. To my best of my understanding, a war game, just like the original video back in the 80s, a war game is a scenario that depicts something they believe might happen, and they play it through to see what happens or how it will play out.
That's why I say this comes from, if anything, a position of complacency and arrogance. Because yes, we might expect something like this to happen, but that doesn't necessarily mean we're prepared for it, especially when it actually does happen. And when it finally does happen, chances are you're not going to be able to scramble fast enough to prevent any of the damage that's about to ensue. In other words, and this is the parallel I was going to draw. Let's look at Operation Fast and Furious. You want to go sell a bunch of unregistered firearms to cartel members. Look at how bad the FBI and the CIA screwed that up. Is it really any stretch of the imagination that 9/11 was just, to be honest, the result of complacency and arrogance by the U.S. government and the intelligence agencies?
No, it's not.
That's really what I think the major conspiracy is. It wasn't, I don't say it was planned or orchestrated by the government. I think they probably knew something was going to happen. I just think they were complacent and arrogant about it.
In the end, that is also what I believe. I'm just throwing some thoughts out there that maybe it was the government, but in the end, when it comes down to it, I don't believe that Bush sent those planes into the building.
Okay, so real quick, hold on. I hate keep cutting in, but I am also trying to search at the same time while I keep up with what's going on.
Yeah, because BTK is saying he's not lying about it. So yeah,
hold on, no, I'm checking something because I look at the odd things that are said. How fast can an F-22 scramble? I typed in F-14, it gave me F-22. So the startup process. 10 to 15 minutes. The startup process of many aircrafts is complicated to say the least. It takes longer than you'd think. Okay, so an F-22 is apparently a large plane like a B-50. I know also something about...
F-22 is a Raptor. Look at F-15. That would be a
well, the F-16
an F-16, so that's good. I have right here, an F-16 can scramble in 5 minutes. I like my eggs over easy, please.
Yeah, but it has to be fueled and the weapon has to be loaded up and able to take off in 5 minutes. So it will probably take about 15 minutes. And
we also have to think about the time to prep the pilot, get the pilot ready, and
also... So this is what made me click on that link. With an aircraft in cocked on position, with a pilot on alert, cockpit or facility, an aircraft can take off in very, very short time, from seconds to minutes. In general, the mission requirements will dictate the amount of time that the pilot is given to take off. As you note in your question so sadly, oh, this is a response to somebody's question. So basically, if you're on a... Go.
Yeah, which means basically it takes about the time for the pilot to get to the airplane and get clearance to take off.
Right.
That's how fast it will go.
You also have to be on alert.
If they weren't on alert and they were in stand down and not set to scramble, then the plane wouldn't have been ready. That would have increased the scramble time.
Perfect. Everything was ready. The pilot could walk to the plane, get clearance, and take off. The perfect scenario. 5 minutes.
The F-16 is also a very small airplane.
Yeah, it's a fighter plane. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's air-to-air fighter. It's not an F-15. It's not an F-18.
Where
is the closest air base in, let's just say, the New York region? Where is the closest air base that actually has a standing force or squadron of F-16s, F-15s, or F-18s?
On the East Coast?
I cannot argue on that because my country is about the size of New York, I think.
Well, and just in Manhattan, because F-16 is, again, like I said, a very small fighter by comparison. Well, not very small, but a small fighter by comparison, according to standards.
Yeah,
it's not an F-15, it's not an F-18.
It's a fighter
Where's the closest air base?
Oh, for me, that's about...
Atlantic City. Hold on. This is actually perfect. I searched Google, scramble-ready fighters on the East Coast. The first result, Atlantic City F-16 fighters were 8 minutes away from 9/11.
Yeah. Hey,
Man,
I
it's still
said
really
10
isn't
to
that much
15 minutes,
time, though.
so 8 minutes.
8 minutes when you're talking about that kind of travel speed and that kind of time, even if you do get there and you manage to scramble the fighters,
They wouldn't have been
considering
able to
they
do
are
anything
ready.
about the towers.
No.
Well, they would have been
would
able to
take,
perhaps
for sure.
prevent the towers, but then you just end up with 2 very large airliners crashing into the city.
If they were lucky, the Hudson or the ocean, depending on speed and trajectory. Also, think about this. The Pentagon didn't get hit for, 38 or 40-something minutes after the towers. After the second tower, I want to say. So, that's way, way within scramble time, even if they're on stand down. How did that one not get grounded? And that one flew over plenty of open area.
At that time, though, it would already have been in the air. And also, you have to remember, we're now scrambling, not just when it comes to trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Everything is in full motion. We're in full damage control mode. To be like, this is why I say it's complacency and arrogance on the government's part. There is a chain of command. So
yeah, that's actually believable.
To be blunt, I just think it's pure complacency and arrogance. Did we know it was likely to happen? Did we know it was going to happen? There's a good possibility. Did we think we would be able to stop it? That I am fairly certain of. To be blunt, I think we got arrogant and we fucked up and we made a huge mistake, and this is the result.
Yeah. I think there was a little bit of
honest about it.
I am gonna say there was a little bit of arrogance and complacency probably in that.
Well, like they would
some of it just had to be coincidence. Even if it lines up, it could have just been coincidence. I can't say what parts, but I'm gonna say a percentage has to be ruled out as coincidental.
Coincidence happens a lot, man.
I'm sure a lot of it also has to do with the fact, as much as I hate to say this, because it's kind of fucked up to say, but I'm sure in the back of a lot of people in positions of power, in the back of their minds, if it does happen and we fail to stop it, well, we can still spin this to our advantage. I'm sure that thought process was there. There's no doubt in my mind. Again, look at the Fast and Furious. That whole operation. Did they screw up? Yes. Has it benefited them? Also, yes.
Yeah, you learn from your mistakes.
They might be arrogant, they might be complacent, but they're not dumb.
This is what Data was speaking about earlier, how the building is 3 levels and broken apart. Now, what I was speaking about earlier is the building has an outer shell. I don't know how well everybody can see this. The building has an outer shell, and then it has an inner shell support structure. Do you see what I mean by the overview looking like a square inside a square?
The shafts in the center that work as a spine.
All of the elevator banks were located in the center of the building, inside this square.
Yeah, because the elevator shafts are the easiest to put support on. They have to be the base, the foundations. It also ensures that when the building collapses, it collapses to the inside, which minimizes damage to the outside.
Right. I do understand part of that. However, with the speed at which they fell, the way they broke layer by layer as they fell, I understand that the design was there, but at that height, they just fell damn near fucking perfect.
Yeah, but that's the way it's designed.
I know.
Really.
That part just... That's one of those things like, wow, I believe it, but it just looks so unbelievable when you watched it come down.
Yeah, well, that was when the plane flew into the building. Even there, I was like, this cannot be happening for real. Who would do that?
Well, here's something else that never gets brought up.
Maybe it's disbelief, people about that brought up all these conspiracies too. Because people just can't believe that somebody would be so evil to do it.
I'm very surprised this never gets brought up, but here's something that really does need to be brought up. Okay, so we're talking about an airplane flying into a building. Obviously, we know the speed that airplane's going to be traveling at. Yeah, we know about how hot jet fuel can burn, all of that, the structural integrity of steel, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, 150,000 degrees Fahrenheit or something.
Think about this. Think about how high the Twin Towers are. Think about the elevation.
110
especially
stories.
the level of impact. And then, has anyone ever been on, say, like the 30th or 40th floor of a hotel room? The wind speed?
I've been to the top of the World Trade Center. The observation deck.
I think I've been as high as maybe 1/4 of the World Trade Center.
I've been to the observation deck. It was pretty. It is windy. Like, you don't even want to reach your hands anywheres or let things loose. You hold your hat with a grip because you know if you let it go, it's gone.
And like at the top of the World Trade Center, you would actually move like 6-7 feet without even moving because of the wind. It will shake the building left and right. It will sway. It's like about 6 feet, if I'm correct.
Do you know that if you try, like, you don't feel it so much when you're standing there, even if you grab the building, but if you kneel down and put your hand on the building and just kind of find something to stationary look at, you start to feel it, and from that moment on, you don't stop feeling it. Like, at first, when you get up into an area that big and the building starts swaying, you're not even noticing it's moving until you notice it's moving, and then you want off the building because you realize how much you're moving.
Yeah.
And it's the same principle behind a billow in a furnace. Imagine that kind of wind blowing into a fire that's being fueled by jet fuel.
Right. In one of the videos that Data sent me, there was a story about the guy who was riding the elevator down, and right after the plane hit, the elevator, right after the building rumbled, the elevator opened, and the guy came out of the elevator on fire. So don't just think about the fact that wind came in there. Think about the fact the plane hit, the fuel started to go, and the wind hit, and it ignited and went straight down through the center of the buildings, out both sides, and up through the center.
Like lightning, the path of least resistance.
It would have been an instantaneous flash fire. I recommend the pilots of 9/11. I could not do that.
As you heat up air, it will expand, and it will find a way of
Data
least
says
resistance.
it could not do that. I hope he could clarify that for me.
And that's the thing, though. When you look, again, just look at let's take the most basic example possible. Look at a medieval furnace with a billow.
Okay.
You blow air into a burning fire to increase the heat.
Yeah.
Imagine flying an airplane loaded with jet. Imagine flying an airplane loaded with jet fuel into a building that's 60 plus stories tall. Imagine the effect that's gonna have.
Compression.
All right, so what Data says...
the fire will rush down or up or to the sides, whatever route is available with the least resistance. So it will go down the elevator shaft and find a hole and come out of there.
And that's the thing. That's the reason that the towers didn't collapse immediately. They actually stood longer than expected.
Okay, so it could not do that. There was no direct connection from the top to the bottom. There were sky lobbies. Now I sort of remember some of the lobby thing. Most of the fuel was gone in the first 5 minutes. There were 3 people standing on the holes. What is that? There was 3 people standing on the holes the planes made.
That's the funny thing
Okay,
about
so
fuel. Once it ignites, it evaporates pretty
right,
fast.
it evaporates
But
really fast, and in a flash fire, it's going whatever did ignite's going to ignite quickly, and I forget what the fires like. I'm trying to think back. I remember the smoke and the original fire from the instantaneous explosion on the second one where it burst out the other side. I'm trying to think back without having to pull up the videos here. And
yeah, they're awful. Man.
Are you talking about the tower?
The second tower, when the plane hit, the torch from the flame went straight out the other side along with some of the debris.
Yeah, the most videotaped airplane in New York ever.
Not everybody's on Discord.
Everybody had their camera angle at the World Trade Center. Thousands of people must have had that on a video or camera core or something.
All right.
And also something you have to realize, the towers themselves, there's still plenty of flammable material within inside that. And also,
yes,
everything.
We haven't even gotten there yet.
Just the heat.
Once it's ignited, it will burn.
Is going to cause structural damage. Just that quick burst of heat.
Right.
Yeah, like even if the metal beams, even if they were heated up until the melting point, the concrete structure alone could have held up a lot of weights by itself before cracking under the pressure. Like the metal is just there to reinforce it. Once it goes, it doesn't mean the building has to go right away.
That is a terrible
either
picture.
way, you're still compromising the
Have some carrying aspects to it. So we're not using it for nothing. We just reinforce it with
the buildings didn't collapse immediately, but you're still compromising the structure, and that heat, it doesn't just disperse.
Exactly.
That heat is going throughout the building.
You'll get weak points, but up to a point, they can take it. The building was designed where if one corner falls out, the other three can catch it. But if another corner falls out, then the building collapses.
Yeah, they're designed to take earthquakes, though. They're not designed to take jetliners flying into them.
Yeah, they're designed to take earthquakes at the bottom level also, but they're also designed to center flames. If a fire breaks out, they are designed to keep it at that single floor. Now, flying an airplane into it with a lot of fuel will obviously cause too much damage for the building. No way you will prepare for that because, why would you? Who would do such a thing?
All right, I want to say you might be slightly
imaginable.
Hold on, Reaper. I'm trying to watch what Dad is saying here in Discord. There was no direct connection from the top to the bottom. As you can see on the screen, there is sky lobbies there. One, and that is illustrated on the screen while I keep reading. There was people standing by the holes the planes made. There were people standing in the holes. There was no heat. Physics guys say that it collapsed from damage and gravity. There was a building that was more than half full. I was about to get there. And this was a AA class fire-rated building. Carpets that don't burn. Curtains that don't burn. The heat radiates and cools. It was designed to stand after multiple 707. I want to say it was originally designed to withstand a 727. I might be wrong again.
Well, maybe not an airplane, but
no,
I do mean to say it was designed in a way that it could withstand a lot of punishments, and I totally agree on that with that.
I am almost certain that when I did study this, it was designed to withstand an airplane hitting it. It was designed to withstand the largest aircraft at the time of the design, which I want to say was the 727. And it was hit with a Boeing 767.
Also,
so
I have to
five generations.
Bring this up though. It was designed to do so, and we can run as many tests as we want. Have we ever seen a building actually get hit by a building of that magnitude? Anyways, get hit by an airplane of that magnitude?
No, I think they.
Before that time, no.
I think they do it based on like wind tunnel tests and shit, and then design the components used in the building can withstand a certain amount, and that's how they designate what it can withstand.
But I think we're all agreeing on this
That I've never seen a plane fly through a building and withstand it to know.
Because of the good design. The building was designed properly to withstand a lot of punishment.
Well, that's why I say it stood up, all things considered. I mean, this is a horrible tragedy. I'm not trying to make light of it. But
we're arguing, but we're all agreeing. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
The towers took that hit pretty damn well. You look at them; they stood for what was it, 2 hours or so?
Yeah.
Yeah, a long time, man. Like I got home from work and I didn't know what happened, and by the time I was knowing and up to date, the second plane flew in, and it stood for like hours, man, hours.
And they stood up pretty well considering the amount of force, everything that they went through, like not just the fire and the heat and all of that, but just the fact that you have, an airplane flying at what was it?
But that's just it. It's not Lego. You know?
Okay.
Like you take one block, the building falls apart. No, it's like real life building. People think about it. They know what they're doing. And in America, you guys have skyscrapers. You've been doing it for years. You know how to build something.
Yeah, like I said, they stood up pretty well when you consider everything.
When you consider there was a plane parked on the 90-something floor that shouldn't have been there, then yes, I will totally agree. Further on through the videos that Data gave me, and then I'll try and read everything he's typing over there. Further through the videos, apparently large sections of the World Trade Center, entire floors, were designated and broken down for like storage and repairs, and were full of tools and or supplies. Boxes weren't correctly configured or didn't match up in certain ways where the plans. Now I'm still looking into the rest of that since it was his list. Maybe he'll throw something in there. After the heat radiates and cools, there was a fire on multiple floors of the Twin Towers that burned for half a day. The 707 was the largest at its time. It was a 4-engine transatlantic plane. A steel-structured building has never, I repeat, never collapsed before or since. 2 planes, 3 buildings. They did not stand if they collapsed. If it stood for 10 minutes after, it should have stood forever. Gravity.
It's just a wear and tear.
Yeah,
you know,
the building is old. And again, you can say the building's designed to withstand a certain impact, and it might. But you're talking the impact and an extreme condition.
Impact.
No. And he's right. I don't hear about too many buildings coming down unless it was planned for them to come down. Although we do hear about neglect. Yeah. And there is a building in Washington State that actually has the name for the fact that it leans crooked. It's sinking 1/4 of an inch every year or something like that.
Yeah, like the Tower of Pisa.
I don't know.
The Tower of Pisa in Italy, you know, like
it's
leaning over.
Yeah, but there's a name for this hotel. Apparently, it's an entire block, and it was built so large and so quick that it's sinking slowly. And now all these people prepaid. They own their condo or whatever in the building, and they're suing the people who built the building.
Actually, wait, NumbedSkull, before we get too far off topic, I just have to ask. In regards to the last comment, have we ever seen an event like 9/11 before?
Let's do a search. I don't believe so. Has a plane ever flown into anything before? Let's get another tab.
I would like to know, because yeah, we can make all the assertions and assumptions that we want, but if an event like this has never happened before, then
there's nothing to compare it to.
assertions and
There was a
assumptions.
plane crash into the Empire State Building in 1945. A bomber plane crashed into the side of the Empire State Building on July 28, 1945 in New York. This is a video on YouTube. Another one from 2011. Plane crashes into building in slow motion. Images for planes flying into buildings. Live footage, flying buildings crashing into planes. That's backwards. I'm seeing quite a few images and pictures.
I'm not trying to be snide here.
I know, but you know what? I didn't realize how common this all. Wow, a lot of these look like small planes.
I also remember just after the planes went in the Trade Center, there was also like this small Cessna type airplane, like this 2-3 person type of thing. That also flew into a building, like also in New York, but I don't know for sure if it was New York. It was like a month or two after the World Trade Center happened. But I don't think if you look back, you will see any commercial type airplanes with hundreds of passengers flying into buildings. I don't think that has ever happened before the World Trade Center.
Like I said, I just want something. I want something comparable because if
there
there
on
is
the right.
comparable
I think that's the
information,
Cessna.
I would like to be aware of it. That's the only reason I ask. I'm again not trying to be snide here.
No, you're absolutely right. Does it happen? How common is it? What do you compare it to?
It's a good fucking question.
Again, because if there is comparable information, that gives us very valuable information, and that could corroborate a lot of the things we've seen, especially considering some of the quote-unquote conspiracy theories out there. If we have something else to compare this evidence to, then we could figure out, what actually is true and what isn't. So
I
would like to know.
Yeah. I'd like to know too, man. I think if we had an answer to that question, I think we would solve half of the 9/11 conspiracy theories in the first case.
Although,
if we would have known,
chances are 4chan's already asked this question anyways.
Yeah, well, how much do you trust the 4chan answer? In 1945, the Empire State Building B-25 crash was a 1945 aircraft accident in which a B-25 Mitchell bomber piloted in thick fog over New York City crashed into the Empire State Building. The accident did not compromise the building's structural integrity, but it did cause 14 deaths, 3 crewmen and 11 people in the building, and damage estimated at $1 million, which is equal to $13,593,346 in 2017.
Yeah, but a B-25, what's the size?
So it's a B-25 Mitchell. A B-25 Mitchell. That was the same
16
bomber
by 20
that
foot,
they
or
launched.
what does it say there?
The B-25 Mitchell is a prop-driven bomber. I believe it was 2-prop. It's
I think it's the little version of the 52.
They launched off a aircraft carrier, I believe. So it's not a very big bomber.
No, okay.
It was 18 foot by 20 foot hole in the building.
Yeah, I'll check this real quick.
Okay,
that's roughly 2 stories tall.
Let me rephrase it, because it's probably a wartime airplane. Did it have bombs? Was it comparable to a commercial airliner flying into a building?
Not even close.
No, that's a lot smaller than a commercial airliner. However, it did happen.
So we still cannot compare it to a commercial airliner-sized plane flying into a big building.
But it is a plane flying into a tall building in New York City, and I am almost certain, I can double-check my facts, the World Trade Center was built after this crash.
I'm not doubting the facts. I'm sure it happened, but can it be compared to?
R.I.P.
Can you compare this to an airplane flying into the World Trade Center? for one, the building it flew into is a lot older. The plane is a lot smaller, but so is the building. So can it be compared? You have to take in all the factors.
Here you go.
And I think, yes, they did take in all the factors at the time of building the World Trade Center, and therefore it could have gone as it did.
Okay, here you go. A B-25 Mitchell. It was biprop. It had 2 propellers. It could carry a payload of 1,200 pounds, 540 kilograms. It had a range of 1,200 miles, 1,900 kilometers, at a speed of 200 miles per hour or 320 kilometers per hour. In other words, it was a light bomber.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was nothing close to
more like a private jet.
Yeah, nothing close. Again, you could
more like a private jet, you know, like a small private jet.
Yeah, you could launch a B-25 Mitchell off an early World War II aircraft carrier with minor modifications.
Yeah, they were not too big, so.
But capable.
Yeah.
Nothing close to being slammed into by an airliner.
Yeah, okay.
It's a light bomber.
Well, we did have a little bit of comparison, of course, but it's not totally comparable then. Never did anything like that happen before. 9/11 was like that point where this has never happened before. We couldn't compare it to anything else.
Just for argument's sake, the B-25 Mitchell had a 1,200 payload. So let's see what the payload is on a B-27.
Yeah, or even on Boeing. Like how many passengers, how much weight in baggage.
I'll be there in a second. I'm working on it.
Yeah, I know. I'm not stressing you. I'm just saying.
Capacity for 181 to 375 people. Depending on the plane, it had a capacity for 181 to 375.
181 to 375 people, yeah.
I was looking for a, dimensional height and width on this. Like, how tall and how wide is the plane. But I'm not seeing just generic height and width on it. I see it's three fuselage lengths long.
It doesn't actually really matter. It depends on the mass, I think, more than the actual size.
Okay, so here's the specification on a B-27. A B-27 is a high-altitude bomber. Its total bomb weight capacity is 4,000 pounds. And this is a jet bomber. The Mitchell is prop-driven. So
it wasn't
about half
near as fast.
Give and take about 50% of the weight.
I think it's safe to say that a Mitchell flying into the Empire State Building is nothing close to a jetliner flying into the Twin Towers.
Yeah,
and if you do compare the two, the Twin Towers were 110 stories tall, where the Empire State Building is 103. So size comparison, they are relatively close. So it would have taken a much larger. Would a 747 or a 757 be able to take out the Empire State Building then? No, I'm not planning anything. Oh my god, look at all the stuff I've been searching right now, and now I state that on the air. I'm gonna get in trouble.
Oh man, I hope nobody knows where you live, man.
According to all my profiles, it's somewhere in New York City, because that's where I felt like making people think I live.
Yeah, well, funny thing, that's what I thought too. That area, New York, not specifically New York, but at least the East Coast somewhere.
Yeah, there's a lot of people on the East Coast willing to talk.
Well, I'm on the west coast of Europe, so.
Speaking of talking, we've been doing it for almost 2 hours now, and I really should start getting headed out. This has been an awesomely weird and old topic to sit here and just mull over for a little while. Data is so awesome for you to try and get in here, about the size of a 1027 read up. Data's over here throwing so much stuff in the Discord, so if you want to check out what Data has to say and some more information and whatnot, Data's got the data in the Discord. Type it in the chat and head over there.
Check it.
So until tomorrow, what's today? Is today Wednesday? Today's Wednesday. So until tomorrow at 2 o'clock when I do my next show, thank you everybody for joining me. Thanks for hopping on and chatting with me today, guys, including Data, whose mic apparently is broken. I don't know what else there is to say. There's plenty more to talk about. This is just something... It piqued interest for a few people. I thought, why not? Something to do. Something to chat about. There's so much we still haven't even begun to scratch the surface of. All the conspiracies, intricate little points, and all the little stupid tidbits and details. But again, once you hear way too much about way too many things, it makes the whole story start to be more what you feel of it and not the actual facts, which is what happens. And that's why I say I don't believe everything.
Skip the night sleep, huh?
I will hold an open mind to believe, but I'm more than happy to disbelieve, and I will sometimes disbelieve the truth and the ability to believe the fake. I don't know. Maybe that came out right. Maybe that came out wrong. That's the NumbedSkull for you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Anybody want to shill anything before I cut the stream?
Yeah, your channel, but I think that's obvious.
Yeah, well, they're all there, so they know where I am. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'm sorry if I didn't get to enough of the chats in here. Good conductors. Steel is a decent conductor. Cools. Yeah. Hi, Ragnarok. Thanks for joining. Bronner, BTK, and any malevolent rider. You guys all have a great day. Unwanted, Doku, Data, thanks for popping in. Talk to you all later.